music down. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Francisco, here for Sports Goofs number 140, joined with my good buddies Andrew and Charles. And how you doing, Andrew? How's it going? How are you been feeling good, my friend? Feeling good? Andrew, are you still alive? Are you there?
I mean, yes, I'm obviously still alive. Survived that series.
Yeah.
I wish there was a little more time to recover, but that my heart is just barely recovered from that one.
Well,
but yeah, fuck you. I don't like you for the.
We are frenemies
for the next up to potentially 14 days. 16.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not happy with you right now, just like last year.
Oh no, yeah. It's good. Don't worry, all friendly and stuff. But just make sure I can dish it as much as I can take it. Okay, so just be prepared. Be prepared. All right. Okay, Charles, how you doing, my friend? How you doing in the other quarter?
All you have to do is just say that the Tampa Bay Lightnings are just racist and it's cold. It's okay.
No.
I'm good. I almost died eating a cupcake right before I went on the show. That explains why I jumped at 6:03 because I was kind of hungry and I had my lunch at like 12, but I needed a little snack to kind of survive the next 2 hours. It was a nice little chocolate cupcake with the frosting. It was very good, and then I just kind of bit in a little bit too deep and the crumble hit the back of my throat, so I was coughing, and I told myself, you know how you have those moments of like, all right, this is it kind of thing, and I said, here I was saying today, oh, my biggest dream was that I go out in a big way as opposed to just being old and elderly. That's really just hoping that someone I've wronged legally in the past comes back and gets me, but instead it was going to be he died as he lived, eating a fat ass with sweets. That's how I am.
Do y'all remember? There was like a show, I think it was like on Spike TV or something stupid like that. It was like 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah.
That's kind of what that reminds me of.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But it would be fitting. It would be fitting.
Yeah, it would be. Well, I'm messing around with the studio here. I can actually zoom in on us now. That's a new feature that I haven't tried before. So you can look at the whole thing, or you can just zoom in on my little get up here. Anyways, so yeah, we've got a show for you. We got we got a show for you guys. We got stuff to talk about. Okay, Charles Almost Dying is presented by Mr. Tortilla, everybody. The number one best-selling tortilla on Amazon.
We don't die on tortillas.
No, you do not. Yeah, unless Charles loves them so much that he just is just throwing them down his esophagus. But they are made out of a need for a healthy and affordable tortilla for the people without sacrificing the flavor. The big breakthrough is now their 1-carb, 15-calorie tortilla. So now you can enjoy tacos without guilt. Go to our website. Okay, click on there. It'll help us out. You'll get some tacos out of it. Right, you make some tortillas. I tried them already. They're pretty good. So that's not a paid endorsement. Believe me, I actually enjoyed them. Or and Andrew and I, our mutual hatred for each other right now is presented by Perani's Hockey World. They will continue to provide the best customer service. Lowest prices, biggest selection of all new products. Lowest prices, biggest selection of closeout prior year products for hockey. Because it is hockey time, folks. Round 2. That's what we're talking about tonight. Round 2. We're also talking about conference finals in the NBA. We might talk about baseball if we have time, because there are some stuff is going down. Charles is just just absolutely lathering himself with all the Yankee stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not even fair.
Yeah. So, and well, and we got goons. We might have some MVPs as well, and smaller segments if we get to it, and stuff. But before we do anything, guys, okay, I for sure want to present a new portion of our little studio here. Okay, now then, Andrew, are you there, my friend? Are you alive still?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Well, we've already got a cage. Here. We've got a cage for Charles.
Yes.
And you need like your own space, I would say, for like when you want to present something, because I think you've pitched this before of like trying to do like something completely different, or or just presenting something else other than sports every once in a while for yourself. So, Andrew, Charles, let's head on over to Andrew's new little section. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the Andrewverse.
I'm on a bit of a delay here, so
yeah, don't worry, Andrew. You'll see it. Once you see it, I will tell you the inspiration for it. I hope you like it. I feel like it'll match. I
love it.
Okay, well,
I see. Let me see. I've got Mustachio Charles to the left. Looks like Raymond decking a mascot.
Yes, indeed.
Looks like a commercial with Stammer.
Yeah, it's him destroying a piñata.
There's you two over there.
Yes. Yes, that's Nitro.
I see Nitro clapping. Very nice.
Yes. Well. Yes. Well,
am I blind?
Good call on good
I-
attention to detail. Getting the new Nighthead.
Yes. Nighthead got some swords there. Well, the layout is. I was trying to figure out what you would like. So the layout, as much as I could do it myself without it looking, I mean, I can improve it, of course, but it's supposed to be the layout of like one of the versions of the
God
bridge.
Damn it! They have a little kid singing the national anthem.
Damn it! Oh my god!
Hold on 1 second. You guys have a little girl singing the national anthem.
Yes, because
World War II vet?
because
Come on.
we're a
But do you hate the fact that little girls
you're
have to
just
progress
pulling
and
at
sing
the
the national
heartstrings.
anthem?
we're a wholesome franchise, We're not just made out of a bunch of hicks and rednecks, This is a diverse community right here. That's all. That's all. Anyways, Andrew, it's inspired by one of the versions of the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. I don't know which version. I just found one.
Nice.
And that's why there's I was finally able to get this kind of that's why there's like a planet in the background. It's kind of like we're in outer space. On the left it's hard to see, but it's supposed to be one of the teleporters. And every now and then, not today, but every now and then we might just see a different version of Andrew just randomly show up through the transporter on the left, because we are in the Andrewverse, by the way. So just be aware, future episodes, when you're talking and we're in this section here, whenever you want to present something new, every once we might get a chance at Evil Andrew or Weeb Andrew or Latino Andrew. Maybe I might take some creative liberties and just do stuff with your face and superimpose them on various different things. So just that it'll be fun. Yes. Okay. I hope you like this.
So I got a question for you, Francisco.
It's lovely. I appreciate it.
Yes. Charles.
Did we get clipped out? Because I tried to join our thing and it only had us for 7 minutes and 40 seconds for episode 140.
I have us still on YouTube. So
all right, I'm on Twitch, so maybe it's just a weird
maybe it's
thing.
a Twitch thing. I mean my I'm not sure. I can check my Twitch on my phone in the meantime. But in the meantime, we can actually get to the matter at hand. So I do want to start, because this game is about to start, and we might as well air our grievances before. Anyways, Andrew, because I feel like we need to air our grievances. I'd like to do a Gottlieb's Goons just to start out.
Good choice.
Okay.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And we will go with this, Andrew. Okay, our Gottlieb's Goons for today is, actually, it's various layers of blame, and it's all the people responsible for the schedule for the Panthers and the Lightning in this second round series. So those are my goons. That's who it will be.
I'm right there with you.
Okay, so number one. So let's start with the first one. The first one for me is ESPN. because the schedule came out as soon, like maybe like an hour or a couple hours after the final game of the first round between the Stars and the Flames, and ESPN. I guess all the teams we kind of knew what was going on with the availability of buildings, because the Stars and the Mavericks share the same building. So the schedule would have been one way if the Stars had made it, because they would have had to kind of fit in with the Western Conference Finals over there with the Mavericks, and if not. So what happened was, after that, we kind of knew what was going on. ESPN and TNT have this split contract, but ESPN has the bigger portion of the NHL national TV broadcasting rights. So they had a choice as to which series they wanted to do. They are also doing the Eastern Conference Finals this year. So for the NBA, so ESPN had a choice as to which markets that they wanted for hockey. Well, they come on, what, are you kidding me? We already got a penalty. Damn it, Mackenzie Weegar. Oh God. All right. ESPN chose to go with the New York Rangers because it's New York and that's what they wanted. So that's number one to blame, ESPN, for that. Number two, I would say, is the NHL, because we can blame them for being in this situation. They gave ESPN all that power to do that with freaking broadcasting rights and all that stuff. Okay, fine. Number three, I'm gonna give it to the Tampa Bay Lightning and Amalie Arena for scheduling a freaking concert during playoff season on a Saturday, which is what forced us to have a back-to-back on Sunday and Monday. You guys are complaining.
I understand your grievance there.
What?
Listen, I understand your grievance, and I agree with said grievance. But the grievance is not against the Lightning. They're not the ones that schedule concerts.
The maintenance, or the arena running company most likely owns the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're all the same entity. Like the Florida Panthers, Sunrise Sports and Entertainment is the arena management group.
Because Jeff Vinik is...
Just because all of these stadiums and arenas, even though they're all publicly owned,
I'll take a look.
All publicly owned, pretty much all of them, the arena management group is usually the team, a big giant corporation or LLC or whatever that also happens to own the team. So they manage the arena for the public entity, like the city or the county or state, or whoever owns the building, so that the state doesn't have to waste taxpayer dollars just to run the building 365 days a year. So most likely, the Tampa Bay Lightning and Amalie Arena and Jeff Vinik and whoever the hell, Tampa Sports and whatever, Queef, I don't know what they call themselves, like they are to blame for scheduling concerts. Yes.
I looked it up, and Hillsborough County is the one that owns it.
They own the building, but they own the management?
It's operated by...
That's the thing. That's the difference.
Actually, the operator is Vinik Sports Group.
There you go. So the Tampa Bay Lightning are also to blame. Jeff Vinik.
I think I'm on a delay with you guys.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I hear you.
I think I'm on a delay with you.
That might be it. If you want, you can pop in and pop out again. Andrew. Charles, can you hear me like 1-to-1 right now? Or maybe I'm the one who's all messed up here. That could possibly be it. I mean, my connection's is currently yellow, green, not red. It's and I've got a few drop frames, but only about 3%. Charles, are you there?
I'm there. I'm just having you on mute because my dogs are going.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. So maybe Andrew's the one a bit delayed. If he pop in, pop out again, that'd be great.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me 1-to-1 right now?
Yes, I can, but it's a delay.
Can you pop in and then pop out again? Like pop out of the call and then pop in and see if that works.
Sure.
'Cause Charles is 1-to-1 with me. So hey, the beauty of live broadcasting, streaming, whatever you want to call it, guys. This is great. Well, I'm gonna hold off on the final portion of this goon, but I feel like I was able to knock out the first three there. Charles. Charles.
Okay.
Hey, Andrew, can you hear us 1-to-1 now? Can you respond to me very quickly?
I know there's a delay of about 3 seconds between
Damn.
when I say something and when I hear your response.
Interesting. Maybe what are you watching your stream on? Maybe it's that. Maybe that's kind of delaying us a tiny bit. Like whatever you're watching the stream of the game on. That could possibly be.
Well, I'm
it.
not listening to the stream. I'm listening to you the Facebook chat.
No, but if you're running the stream of the game, maybe that's kind of delaying some things. I have no idea. Someone, or I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Your internet's kind of wonky. I'm not sure. Can you want to call in with your phone, maybe, and you just do it through there?
I can try that.
We could try and see if that works, and maybe
yeah, let me try
it'll
that.
work some stuff out. Well, that kind of threw me off there. I was kind of rolling up to the last thing that I was gonna do, but while Andrew's doing that, Charles, I guess, yeah. Well, I guess gotta knock out one of these smaller sections out here, because I kind of had a whole thing going here.
Well, it wouldn't be Goofs or Sports Goofs without a goofing moment.
Let's do a better known minor league team. Hey, Andrew, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, the response time is much better now.
Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, your mic quality is not as great, but we just gotta have to make do, right? Okay.
Oh well.
And maybe we can try later on to see if you can pop in, and maybe it'll work out as we. Okay, and my final portion is Kane Brown. Kane Brown, who is the one that was scheduled concert at Amalie Arena on Saturday. A bunch of Lightning and Panthers fans and some NHL fans got to find out who the hell Kane Brown is. He's apparently like a pop country singer, and he's going over to have a concert there on a Saturday night, which means on Sunday the ice conditions are going to be terrible, because that's what usually happens when they have a concert and they do a game the next day. On most arenas, the ice conditions aren't that great. And Kane Brown, he's going over. He's gonna sing with like the guy who made the Applebee's country song, or whatever. And,
oh no, not him.
Yeah, and that's
the kind of people and music that Tampa Bay attracts.
Surprisingly, Kane Brown is black, so.
I'm talking about people who love Applebee's.
That's not the Applebee's guy.
No. But the guy he's the headliner, and another guy that sings the Applebee's songs is going to be with him. I don't know, some other dude. It's some other white guy. Okay. So anyway, just picture a generic country singer. That's the Applebee's guy, not Kane Brown. But Kane Brown is also a pop country singer, and he's got his concert on Saturday. And I hope he gets diarrhea, and he doesn't have the concert at all. So even if it doesn't move the games forward, he could just have diarrhea, and he won't have a concert at all. So I hope he gets explosive diarrhea on Saturday morning, and he just doesn't have the will to have that concert. And then
Plus, we don't like country music anyway, so.
So, and the problem was now we have the back-to-back on Sunday and Monday for games 3 and 4 in Tampa, and we have the conflict with the Eastern Conference Finals with the Heat, because everybody was hoping it'd be Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, like that, and just be like every other day, just like the other round was with the Heat games, so that we could watch the Heat on one day, then the Panthers on the other day. They're just so simple, but now it's this. But the game starts at 7, and it has started, and then you have the game for the Heat and the Celtics at 8:30, and that's how it is. And those are my goons. That's what I'm doing. That's what happened. So that's what I want to get out of the way. Okay.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of things I agree with you this week during this series, but I will agree with you on that one.
Yeah. But okay, so that's happening. Let's go into let's review. Let's review what happened last week because we're here now. We're let's talk about some hockey now because that's going on. First round is over. And I titled this entire episode "Frauds Found" because we're weeding out the frauds from. And I'm getting an echo. Is that? I think that's from Andrew's phone.
Let me see if.
Do you have headphones?
Yeah, I do have headphones.
Yeah, so maybe that's because if it's on speaker, maybe it's kind of giving the echo there. Anyways, let's see. The first round happened. Let me find the playoff bracket here if I can find it. But I guess I'll get mine out of the way. The Panthers beat the Capitals 4-2. Very happy about that outcome, of course. The Panthers' first playoff series win in 26 years. It's that bad, folks. The franchise has been that bad for that long. But Carter Verhaeghe was the playoff hero. He's the playoff hero thus far.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, you guys cap hell, right? So that's the only reason why he's not still in Tampa. He did carry the Panthers. He got the game-winning goal in Game 6, also in Game 4. And the Capitals, they played physical. They still lost, and since their 2018 championship, they haven't made it out of the first round. So it leaves you wondering whether that championship window for Ovechkin and Backstrom and those guys is closing finally. So that's one. The other one, and I guess it's a similar vein, is the New York Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. That was a good series. I thought it was going to be over when the Pens went up 3-1. I'm like, I thought this series was going to be better than that. And actually it was. The New York Rangers came all the way back to win the series, winning it at home in overtime at Madison Square Garden. Artemi Panarin, their big boy, their superstar, got the victory there against the Penguins. And the Penguins have also not made it out of the first round since 2018. And they've got a few of their stalwarts there who are up for free agency, including Malkin. So maybe the window for the Penguins is also finally closing on those guys, Crosby and Letang and Malkin. So there's that. The other series, the Boston Bruins lost to the Hurricanes. So Charles's beloved Brad Marchand did not make it to the next round. But it was still a good series because it went 7 games also. And the crowd in Raleigh's pretty damn good. That's probably as close to a college atmosphere as you can get in hockey right now. It is out there in Raleigh. And it makes sense, NC State and all that stuff. But Boston was pretty damn good. And they've got some questions of their own. I actually did a Sports Goofs mini about Patrice Bergeron, because there's some questions as to where he's going to go from here. I feel like he's a Hall of Famer. I feel like at this point he is. He's pretty much done everything that you could ask for. There's not much left to put on his resume. He's got a cup. He's got awards. He's one of the most consistent players of the last generation. And I feel like he's going to get in, but he really has nothing more to prove. But does he want one more run? Will that be with Boston? It's the only team he's ever played for. So that's my notes on that series. And then I'll let Andrew take this one, because this is where we find out one of the biggest frauds of this past regular season. The Lightning beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mm-hmm. And the Leafs, once more, lost the Game 7 in the first round at home. Woo, boy, Andrew, you can take this one, because this was fun. This it did exactly what I wanted to. Is what you guys going all the way to 7 games. It didn't go into triple overtime, unfortunately, but it still left us with plenty of Canadian tears. So,
I mean, I feel bad for Steve Dangle.
Yeah, but he
I
did
think
have
he's the. I
he,
think he's only one of a couple Maple Leafs fans that I actually like.
he did have a great closing, I guess, review of the game, which was
Absolutely.
he said like as much as like he'll always be that type of fan, unapologetic. He'll say stuff and just cheer them on until the day he dies, and that he's not going to feel bad as to what he says and feels, because he's going to stand by the team and he shouldn't be ashamed of it. I mean, and he just won't let people dictate that. He's going to be a diehard Leafs fan. He's going to think that they're going to win the Stanley Cup every season. So, yeah. But yeah, go ahead, Andrew. How your synopsis of that series?
I mean, I this was definitely over the past few years, over the past two cup runs. This has been the toughest series. I'm trying not to bring recency bias into it, but if you look at what happened, this is only the second time that we've gone to, or this is the first time we've gone to we've been down 3-2. We had an elimination game in the East, or sorry, it wasn't technically the Eastern Conference Finals last season because they did away with,
let's say, the Final Four.
Right. When we were facing the Islanders, we had a 3-2 lead. They came back and made it 3-3. But we've never, with the exception of that series, we've never been in an elimination situation, and certainly not one where we would have to win 2 games. It was very nerve-wracking.
Which is like, that's amazing. As a, well, I'm just putting my unbiased hat here. After this, I'll be like, screw the Lightning. But which is amazing over, I mean, just this run of, I would say since like 2015, let's say, when that first run to the Stanley Cup, like this, which is amazing to think, given this core and stuff like that. It's been that long, and they haven't been down.
And the crazy thing is, a good amount of the core from 2015 is still here. I mean, we unfortunately had to trade Tyler Johnson over the offseason because, like I said, cap hell. Or like you said, cap hell. But it's like him, Stamkos, Hedman. There's a decent number of guys from 2015 that are still on the roster or were on the roster within the last 2 seasons. And even going further back, I mean, we were 1 game away from going to the 2011 Stanley Cup final, but we lost in heartbreaking fashion to Patrice Bergeron's.
Completely different teams at this point. I mean, that's literally a decade ago.
I know,
but how about like, because you guys were down 3-2, and now you come back for that game 6. That game 6, and like, with all the confidence of being the back-to-back Cup champions, even though bubble, and then of course cap circumvention, so they're not really real. We'll put asterisks next to them, okay? So we'll just do that. And I'm gonna keep doing this, Andrew. You're gonna have to take it for the rest of the series. but we'll see how things lie after in about a week, maybe.
Right. Well, I will.
You will defend it to the day of you die, of course.
Well, yes. But going back to the Maple Leaf series,
indeed, Game 6.
I just want to give some preface to the rest of the series. This was not. It was probably, aside from the fact that we were down 3-2. It was probably the most nervous I've been because we were not really playing normally, at least as we were accustomed to over the past 2 seasons. even when we were 3-3 or whatever, we weren't making a lot of mistakes. We seemed like we were in every game. And it's just the other team outplayed us that one game. We weren't giving them a lot.
Yeah.
But for one reason or another, we were just so up and down throughout the series. There were games where it was just like, what the hell are we doing? I mean, in the first game, I think it was 5-0 that we lost. And I mean, giving up 5 goals, we did that against you guys last season. It was I think 6-5 final. But it was like, damn, they earned those 5 goals. And I'm not saying that Toronto didn't earn them, but at the same time, it was like, what are we doing?
And this is probably we talked about. You talked about the history of these Lightning, but also these Leafs. Like, this is over the last 6-7 years, or even the last decade. This is the best version of the Leafs that they've had in like forever, as well.
Without a doubt.
Like, this was a juggernaut of a Leafs team that in any other season would have won this division. But
they just got unlucky.
But this division, I mean, this season was just really insane how good Florida, Boston, Tampa, and Toronto were. That it was just like one of them had to win the division. But yeah,
like we had 110 points.
Yeah, I think our division was probably the best in hockey. I mean, the Metro was pretty good too, but I think toe to toe. From 1 through 4, I think the Atlantic was probably the best one and the hardest one to win.
I agree, and I'll give credit. I think whoever comes out of the division probably has the best chance of winning the cup.
Yeah.
Colorado may be stacked, and they may have the best team, but they had a relatively weak division to go through the whole regular season.
And the conference, too.
Here, I mean, the Leafs had to play the two of us. We had to play the Leafs and Florida during the regular season.
Boston took Carolina to 7.
Like, steel hardened steel, am I right?
Yeah. But
or steel sharpened steel.
So let's go to, Game 7 now. Game 7.
So yes, Game 7.
In Toronto, by the way.
Game 7 was the best I've seen the Lightning play in the playoffs. And honestly, going like several weeks back into the regular season, I don't know what it was, but for some reason the Lightning were just not playing like themselves. And there's a goal for Florida.
Your stream is ahead of mine, and I think I'm about to see it right now. Let's see. On the rush right there. And hey, Duke! Finally! He was silent for the most part in the first round against Washington. He finally gets one. They actually benched him. So I guess that worked. 1-0. Go Cats. Anyways, but
like again, this goal here, there wasn't really a mistake involved. It was just good entry into the zone.
Yeah.
Good passing, and then
that was a great
Duclair just got Vasi out of position.
Yeah, Sauce at the end of the thing, and Duclair. Yeah, and Vasi kind of splayed out a little too far, and he couldn't get up again. So, yeah.
Like maybe the only mistake was Sergachev overplayed. Mm-hmm. But even then, it still wasn't bad. But in the Toronto series, there were just bad plays all over the place. But anyway, going back to Game 7, that was really kind of the first complete game that we had played.
Mm-hmm. That defensive clinic at the end, because you guys got that too. Like, you didn't give the Leafs any chance edgewise after that.
Exactly. But that's what I mean, is that if we're playing like the Lightning, we're unstoppable. And yes, I was nervous going into that last stretch where they had the man advantage. But part of me was like, they're going to be able to get through this. Just because seeing how they've been playing the rest of that game. So, I mean, I don't know if they'll be able to sustain it for a whole series, because even in those other 3 wins, it was still kind of like you could see the mental mistakes, you could see the fatigue. That is a tough series that we just came out of. So, it'd be great if we can string together a few of those clinics.
Well,
if that's the case, then we get a good shot.
Yeah, and as far as my thing for the Panthers was concerned, I feel like Washington may have been probably as close to playing you guys in the first round as we could get. In the fact that the Capitals are just full of guys that were still on that 2018 team. They're not that far removed from it, and the Capitals played like it. I mean, I hate TJ Oshie now. Like, my God, he was killing us, but it made you really hate him. I can see why other teams don't like him. I mean, they were going up on my Swedish man crush, Patrick Hornquist, as well. He was also, because he was a former Penguin, so they remember him from those battles when he won those back-to-backs with Pittsburgh. But the Capitals played like the Panthers. Last season was a great lesson in playoff hockey, especially against a huge rival, because we have the Battle of Florida, part 2 right now. So this is the second version of this, and playing Washington was just like exactly what we needed for the first round. Like, we couldn't, if we had gotten like a cupcake team, let's say the New York Islanders somehow snuck in with like, I don't know, like 88 points or something like that, I'm sure the Panthers would have handled them pretty relatively easy compared to playing Washington. So that I'm glad now, after looking back, especially after winning it, that they did face Washington, a team of that caliber. Out of them or Pittsburgh, one of those 2 teams where it's just like, oh, these guys have been through this all before, So I guess that's the Eastern Conference. For the West, I mean, the West, I'll look over here, but it's Colorado. Colorado was the only team that swept. They swept the Nashville Predators, and it kind of goes into your point, Andrew, is that, like, of course, the Avalanche, best Western Conference team, only like 2 points behind the Panthers for the President's Trophy, but the Predators, they're a good team, yes, but in comparison to what we had in the East, not great. So, and Colorado, I mean, kudos to them. They did what they needed to do. Cale Makar, I mean, dear Lord, this guy played out of his freaking mind. He had 10 points in 4 games. Like 5 goals and 5 assists in 4 games. That's insane from a defenseman, by the way. I mean, he's a superstar in the not even in the making, like now. But the Predators also were without Saros, which is kind of like, they were severely. I mean, you're missing your number 1 goaltender, so he's probably the reason the Predators even made it this far. So they just had no chance to win without him. Next 6 series was St. Louis and Minnesota. The Blues 4-2. That's another team that's not far removed from the Stanley Cup, so they're pretty dangerous. They won the special teams battle against Minnesota, and Minnesota was just kind of flip-flopping goalies. They have Marc-Andre Fleury, and he played some. Then Cam Talbot, he played some. It was like, oh, okay. And that was flip-flopping back and forth. And they just kind of never got anything going for the most part. And St. Louis was the I was going to say the Twins, but the Wild kryptonite all season long. I think they swept them this season, so it was kind of like the worst matchup they could get was St. Louis. Edmonton and Los Angeles. So the Kings went to 7 games. They're actually way ahead of their rebuild. They're good now, earlier than a lot of people expected, and they've got a lot of guys. Unfortunately, Drew Doughty got injured. That might have made a huge difference. Dustin Brown's retiring, so a lot of those guys from that old guard from 2012, 2014 are kind of they're all falling away now. But yeah, they're ahead of schedule. So the Kings are going to look good for the future as the revival of those California teams out there. And then Connor McDavid was a superstar. He had 14 points in the 7 games. He was a 2-point per game player, and he's Connor McJesus for a reason. And he's playing like his determination in his eyes in that first round, especially in Game 7. Like you could tell, like he's got that face. Remember, Charles, when LeBron was facing the Celtics and they were down in Game 6?
This is what my barber needs to have, kind of. Focus.
Yeah, he's got that right now, and that's kind of scary to me. You have the best player in hockey. He is the best player in hockey. I know Nathan McKinnon's really good. Yes, but
he's no Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid is truly the best player in hockey, and he really wants to prove it this year, finally in the playoffs. Because that's really been his only thing that he hasn't really done, that people really want to see from him. So there's that, and then, dear Lord, Andrew, the Dallas Stars lost to the Flames, but Ottinger, that goalie for the Stars, that is a superstar goalie, right there. Like he's gonna be super good. That was also another game that went into overtime in Game 7. My God, he had how many saves did he end up with? Like for the series, he had like an ungodly amount of saves.
Yeah,
an ungodly amount of saves, and I think he made like 65 saves in that game or something. Like it was insane, and unfortunately he lost. But I mean, the Stars lost not because of him, not because of they got something good going. The Stars are kind of like a wishy-washy team. They of course they lost the Cup final in 2020, so and I really don't know where they are going to go. They've got a pretty good GM, so they can do the rebuild on the fly, but they got some questions. They got some older guys on that team. They got to figure out a way to kind of change things up, because they're kind of just a first round team now. They peaked in 2020, and now they're just kind of like a first round team. And it's a good fan base out in Dallas. Their fans are great, but they need to figure it out to kind of get over the hump again. Maybe give Jamie Benn, and Tyler Seguin's already got a cup, but give Jamie Benn one more shot at it. But if not, then they got to figure something out. Kind of like, and they don't want to end up like the Flyers, let's say, with Giroux, where they kind of just let it linger on for too long and never figured it out, and then just kind of suck now. So that's how I see the Dallas Stars' future, and that's the synopsis of the first round. From look, this was actually, we did good, Andrew. This is a sports show, everyone. Sometimes we got to remind ourselves of that.
The real stuff is happening.
Yes.
You're parts of sports that I even watched. So
that's true, Charles. You did tune in to a few of these hockey games.
Look, the Rangers Penn series is great.
Yeah.
Because that was the one that was mostly seen on ESPN when I was like working out. So I was like, okay, I can kind of go from there. And it was very good. And I watched a little bit of the Brad Marchands.
Yeah.
They're not the Boston Bruins, they're just the Brad Marchands today.
Yeah.
Kind of come into it. I didn't watch I watched like 20 minutes of the Lightning game as Andrew was like freaking out about everything, and I didn't see like a single Panthers game because for some reason, even though I live in Florida, I couldn't say they were broadcasted anywhere.
Bally Sports. That's what
I use Sling.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I mean,
so.
it was Bally Sports and TNT and I think ESPN2 or something like that.
That's also the thing. It's going against basketball. So I didn't really watch the first round basketball, but when second round was coming around, that's when hockey's first round started. So henceforth, Charles was in it to win it.
Okay, so we are at 45 minutes now. And let's see. I do have some real MVPs that I want to talk about. So let's
Did you do a goon yet?
I did my goon. I did the ESPN, like everybody that was responsible for the schedule.
I thought
for
you were
the
taking
segment.
that to hockey. I had a goon, but I'll do it when we talk about
I did a
basketball.
segue. But into hockey talk after that. But if you do have a goon, we can go there. We can do that now.
No, we'll do
You'll
it
save
when
it?
it comes to.
Oh, I see.
We'll do it when
I
it comes
see.
to basketball. You already know who it is.
I see. All right. Yeah, we'll do a segue into basketball for in most likely the second half of the show. But yeah. I guess I'll go with some real MVPs here because we haven't done those in a bit. My real MVPs, I do want to highlight Nick. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Maybe Andrew knows. Nick Zakelj. He's a rookie for the San Francisco 49ers.
I've not seen that name yet. So
Nick Zakelj. Let's look him. I think he just got drafted. 49ers rookie. Went to Fordham. What are they, Andrew? Fordham. Fordham. What team are they? The Fordham Fords. I don't know. The Fordham Hammers.
I want to think it's the Rams, but I don't remember.
Oh, well, let's look at his Wikipedia page. We can kind of go in there. Yeah, he went to Fordham 2017 to 2021. Was drafted in the 6th round, 187th overall. In this last draft. And let's take a look at Fordham. Yeah, the Rams. Look at that. Good job. They play in the Bronx.
It's literally terrifying how he knows these things.
Yeah.
It's like it reminds me of like that thing that Andrew had asked me clip wise for wrestling, and I just knew it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Like the scene. That's like the weird deja vu that I just got.
That's pretty good. Fordham, yeah, and they play in the Bronx. Interesting. Okay. Where do they play in the Bronx? Where do they have room for that? I'm not sure.
Probably runs up to the Yankees.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I just want to highlight him because he's a big baseball nerd. He's like a super baseball nerd. So
Is he the statistician or the analyst? I was reading about him.
Yeah, he was like he talked about the fact that I think Barry Bonds would have had like the highest on base percentage in baseball even without having like made a swing or had a baseball bat going up to the plate. So yeah, he did bust that out. Of course, he's in San Francisco, so I'm sure they're gonna love that. So there's that, and I do have another one to highlight. I feel like this one's very apropos given certain circumstances out there. My other real MVP is Micah Hyde for the Buffalo Bills. He held a it was already planned out. He was gonna have a charity softball game for his foundation, and I think his foundation is, I forgot what he normally does it for. I think it's like for disabled children or something like that. Something. And then unfortunately the horrendous stuff that happened out in Buffalo happened, and so he also had proceeds go to the victims of that. So Micah Hyde, real MVP for that one. For the Buffalo Bills, and he is out of full story. Iowa. Ooh, I was about to say, okay, Iowa. I'm sure Andrew knows who the Iowa is for the college.
Hawkeyes.
Of course, yes. So yeah, Micah Hyde. He was drafted back in 2013, 5th round, 159th overall. Played for the Packers, Pro Bowler, All Pro. Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year in 2012. Yeah, he did his thing, and he's paying it forward. So, Micah Hyde, you're a real MVP for that. We are at 50 minutes. I mean, I do want to talk about something. I feel like it's an interesting conversation that could last 10 minutes. It's something Charles talked about. I kind of want to spin it into something else. So, I want to look at all 30 Major League managers in baseball and see which one of them is the hottest.
Yes! So I was going to prepare a list of all cross-branding, but I think what we'll do is a battle tournament.
We'll do one for each of the leagues, right? NBA, NHL, MLB, all that stuff, NFL.
So I guess I should give backstory.
So I'm gonna look up the 30 Major League Baseball managers and see if we can get like a list, and we can look at their pictures and be like, would you?
We're just gonna call them handsome or not handsome, okay?
Okay.
We're not gonna put people on the spot.
Fine.
People might not even be attracted to baseball, okay? Let's start how this goes. So I'm at lunch the other day, like last Friday, and I'm reading ESPN on my phone. I have ESPN Plus thingy, whatever it is, from my Hulu Disney account. All that fun stuff. And I'm reading an article about the Giants for whatever reason. Because I don't watch a lot of West Coast sports. And like, oh, hey, baseball and Gabe Kepler. And I knew of Gabe Kepler when he was in
Philly.
Yeah, the Philly as a manager. I remember him lightly as a player from back in the day because he was on that Red Sox team. And then I see this photo shot of him, and I'm like, Gabe Kepler? More like Babe Kepler. This guy is fucking handsome. And I'll say this right now. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality. I like
indeed.
women, but I'm kind of into Gabe Kepler. I was like, holy shit. And then I'm like, it's like when I hear him, I hear Hispanic drums, the Gypsy Kings. And then Andrew's like, oh, he's Jewish. And I'm like, oh. And so I just went on a deep dive on this man. And he's also like against domestic violence, and his wife do some stuff.
He has like a charity for that, right?
He has a charity for it. I'm like, what is this? What is this? I'm like, hey, I gotta talk to him though. I gotta say, listen, man, if you're gonna be my bottom here, you have to actually eat more stuff than just red meat every day, because he has a very weird constructed diet because that's how it started. I was reading about his nutritional thing, because I guess that was his highlight about him. And here's the thing I'll tell you guys. I actively work out. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder or anything like that. I'm 32. I'm just trying to keep healthy and everything like that. And I like to vary it. And the way I'll look into different workout tips is not from people on the cover of magazines that you see, like Muscle and Fitness. I just actually look at professional athletes and wrestlers. And you can construct a weird stuff if you have your own kind of gym. It's strange. But then he just does this whole just red meat diet every single day with some light fruits and yogurt. And I'm like, listen, weirdo. All right. We eat some Oreo cookies up in here. Let me feed you some airheads so you can actually know what greatness tastes like. Or you can choke on a brownie cupcake like I did earlier today. So it started to have me kind of get an idea of other men. You know what the sad part is? I know who the ugliest manager of all time is, and it hurts me, but it's a notable shout out. But now I want to compile like the list of handsome managers, people who can give Babe Kepler a run for their money.
Okay, so I've got a list here. We're gonna put it on the excuse me, the big screen here. So let me remove that. We're not talking about that. So let's start with the first one. We're gonna start in the American League, and then we'll move our way on over to the National League, and this will get us to the halfway point of the show. So for the Baltimore Orioles, that is Brandon Hyde. So let's take a look at good old Brandon Hyde here. So there he is. He's I mean, I'm just gonna go with whether I would if
you just think he's a handsome man or not. You just see it like that. You don't have to do or not do. Some people aren't ready for that. Even though I got to the season finale of season 3 of Schitt's Creek, and that might be relevant more. Brandon Hyde, he's that guy that if he bought me nachos, I entertain the idea of conversing him for more than 10 minutes, but nothing exceptional. The ears are kind of weird. Okay.
Maybe it's when he's wearing a hat. Some people wear hats and their ears kind of pop out like that. Yeah. And maybe like if he's like normal with the hair and all that stuff. Actually, oh no, he doesn't really have hair. Never mind. Okay. Well, no, it's a no for me.
Not into it.
Andrew, I don't know if you want to be a part of this.
Well, it's fine. We're just calling men handsome. No, it's okay.
He's his mic's not working again. I think.
Maybe he saw how beautiful Gabe Kepler was.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's part of the tribe, right? That's
handsome ass tribe.
Yeah.
It's like the inner circle of the tribe.
Well, let's let's do this one. Alex Cora, Charles.
Absolutely not. Toxic ass relationship that him and I would have.
Alex Cora.
He just shaved his facial hair because his team wasn't winning, so he was like, "Oh, let's go from there."
Okay, all right. You know what? I'm just gonna get your opinion on this because I feel like it's actually much funnier that way.
Alex Cora, like.
No. Okay, all right. Let's go on.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Plus, he looks so weird shaven.
All right.
I just don't like him. I just don't like him.
Let's move on to Tony La Russa.
Oh my god, probably the ugliest looking guy.
He's
Tony La Russa.
He's in his 80s or like late 70s.
You know what? Yeah, I don't care. He wasn't handsome 20 years ago.
Well, I mean, look at young Tony La Russa then. Let me see. Look at young Tony La Russa. Look at him. Look at the dapper fellow with the Cubs.
Yeah, no. Tony La Russa is the guy who's at Boca sipping on some.
I don't know. I think I could dig young Tony. Look at him playing with the A's right there. Out in, I think it was Kansas City A's. So
I'm going to keep it to the current age. All right, and there's some handsome.
All right.
Older
I'm just
men,
saying. Okay.
Tony's got that drinking problem.
I forgot about that.
I can't go from there.
All right, next. How about Tito? Terry Francona.
Oh, yeah. Terry Francona's kind of a daddy.
He'd be fun to hang out with.
Yeah, he'd be cool, man.
I think he'd be cool, all right? I know he broke your heart in 2004, but, I mean...
Yeah, but he kind of won my heart a little bit in Cleveland.
Yeah.
He's a handsome enough looking guy.
Yeah, so Terry Francona. All right, that's a good one. Okay, next is how about AJ Hinch?
All right, let me go on the Google here.
You know, he's trying to restore his image. Okay, trying to rebuild.
He's a bad boy.
Rebuild his character, right? Yeah, he's a bad boy. You know. I mean.
AJ Hinch looks like a guy that gets upset if they don't have his specific kind of chaw, and I don't want to be around that kind of guy in my life.
Okay, all right. So that's AJ.
Plus, he's a cheater. Yeah.
He's a
cheater. He's the guy who lies to your face when you look through the text messages.
I think we'll only be able to do the American League today, given the time constraints.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right, so we'll do the National League next time, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is how about good old Dusty Baker?
Oh, I mean,
He's the inventor of the high five. Huh?
No.
Let
Well, these Ron Washington knew how to party.
That's true. That's Dusty. How about young? Let me see young Dusty Baker. How does young Dusty Baker look?
Dusty Baker looks like the guy who would have to tell me to go to church if I spent over the night on a Saturday. I'm not ready for that.
There he is in San Francisco.
I don't want to meet your mom, or your dad.
All right. So that's Dusty Baker. So we'll
because I'm not going on the young man. Listen, there's plenty of men or women who have to deal with ugly old men at the bar hitting on him, and that's how we're doing the modern day stuff. Back in the day, my knees didn't hurt, guys, and they hurt. So we got to keep it constant.
All right. Next is.
I know you're gonna save it for last too in the AL. So
all right.
Might as well.
How about we're trending a little bit younger here, but Mike Matheny. Mike Matheny. What is he managing? Oh, he's managing the Royals. Okay, yeah. I didn't realize that.
Maybe
didn't move too far from St. Louis.
Mike Matheny has good hair.
And that is true. He's got good hair.
And as a guy who worships his own hair,
yeah, he's got good hair.
I respect it.
I like, the way it flows out from the back. Yeah, he knows how to work that. That's for sure.
He's got a little bit of that intensity in him.
There it is, combed right there. That's not bad.
Like if someone grabbed
my arm. He's got a very nice, stern-looking face.
If someone grabbed my arm at the club, I think Mike Matheny would throw hands. So, okay, Mike Matheny, what's up, man?
All right.
You ain't up on Gay Kepler, but
Okay. All right. So how about? Okay, we're gonna keep going here. How about Joe Madden? How about wacky Joe Madden? All right.
Joe Madden can take me out for dinner. Yeah. That's it. With his cute ass glasses, looking like Carl from Up.
He kind of does. He kind of does look like Carl from Up. All right.
He also changed to the facial hair. That's what happens. His wife divorces him. He's like, all right, boys and girls, we can go out in the town. We're in LA now.
All right, next, out in Minnesota, Rocco Baldelli.
Let me look at Rocco here.
Rocco Baldelli doesn't.
The name is exotic.
Rocco was just confirmed for Nick Smash.
He just kind of seems like a love child of Gabe Kepler and Manu Ginobili.
The top of his head, and then he's got the beard and now he's got a beard, I think. Yeah. A little bit, yeah. It's like they mashed both of them together, some sort of Photoshop thing.
He's
interesting.
40.
Yeah, he's one of the younger managers out there. So
All right.
he's one of the younger
I
managers.
don't think he's a
One of the
babe.
early Rays legends.
Andrew,
well.
you think Rocco Baldelli is a babe? He was one of your guys. Andrew's like, I'm super uncomfortable with this
Early
conversation.
Rays legend. You know, he got at least one chance at the World Series championship, which was good. He, suffered through all that time in Tampa. He's completely checked
He's
out
loyal.
of this.
He's loyal.
Yeah. All right.
Rocco Baldelli. Loyal.
Rocco,
Okay.
yeah. I think his career was
He's
cut
the guy-
short, unfortunately.
He's the guy that you end up marrying after you've had.
All right, Charles. How about your boy, Aaron Boone? Aaron Bleepin' Boone.
Is Aaron Boone handsome? This is a hard thing to.
I mean, he's got the thing with the ears, like you didn't like with the
He's
Orioles
got the
manager.
weird ass ears. He kind of looks like Sir Radigan if he wasn't juiced up. Radigan for the Great Mouse Detective. But I admire.
Why do I know that reference?
I admire Aaron Boone's like temper tantrums sometimes. If you ever see him argue balls. And
I mean, he
strikes.
will defend you to the end. That's for sure.
Yeah. But here's the problem: if you think like if we, make
I
the
mean,
joke about Michael
there he
Bay,
is
like,
when he
do
was
that,
young. When he was young, wasn't too bad. He wasn't too shabby when he was young.
His wife's handsome. I don't know. I think it's that Aaron Boone is kind of a ride or die mentality. Like if Mike Matheny would defend me if someone grabbed my arm, Aaron Boone would just stab him, and I can appreciate that for what it's worth.
Mm.
Not my cup of tea.
Alrighty. All right,
Still debate.
we're getting down here. Oh, how about this one? How about Mark Kotze out in Oakland? He's one of the newer ones. He's one of the he this is his first actual managerial job. Okay.
All right, let's
He was
take a
former Marlin. He came up with the team. I think he got a ring in '97. It was one of those September call-ups, and that's how he's rocking it today.
Not definitely not my cup of tea.
No.
He looks like he likes to go to garage sales and Bass Pro Shop. We ain't doing that, man.
Okay.
I'm not listening to Applebee's on a Saturday night or Wednesday night or whatever.
You're not a Stone Cold Steve Austin type of looking guy. That's
Oh hell no, man.
no. All right. Okay. So then, we're getting down to the last four. Scott Service out in Seattle.
All right, let's take a peek at this here.
So Scott Service, there he is. All right.
All right. Oh no. He looks like he giggles if you just hold his hand. No, pass.
Oh gosh. All right. What? Let's get down to. Oh, how about Andrew's old boy Kevin Cash? He's another one of the youngins.
All right,
Kevin
so
Cash out in
looks like a
Tampa.
Kevin Cash. Oh yeah.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's handsome.
There we go. Andrew's got one. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got his boy.
well,
I mean, he
yeah.
played for the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get Kevin Cash.
Yeah.
We'll put him at like number 2 or 3 for baseball right now.
Okay. Top one in the American League at least.
So far, yeah.
Okay. All right. So
It's that swagger, it's that braggadocious about him.
that's true. He's not afraid to take out Blake Snell in a game-deciding World Series game when he was going hot. He wasn't listening to everybody else. He was gonna follow the numbers. That's what he was gonna do. Chris Woodward out in Texas.
All right, let's take a look.
Chris Woodward, another one of the youngins as well.
Ears kind of screwed up.
He's gonna
a
have
little
all
bit.
those unwritten rules, Charles. Remember that. You never know. He's gonna you might piss him off, and he's just gonna be like, "You should have known," right?
No, I don't want that.
Okay.
It's the ears, man. I can't do that, man. I guess that's my thing.
All right. How about a little?
Dumbo, we don't
How
need
about a
that.
little Latin spice here? The Toronto Blue Jays manager, Charlie Montoya.
Well, I mean, we both have the same name.
Yeah, that's gonna get weird. That is gonna get weird. Charlie and Charles.
Oh, Charlie Montoya, no.
Yeah. I mean, he might
He's
cook you
goofy,
some pretty
man.
damn good Latin dishes, though. Where is he from? What is he? I mean, or what's his ethnic background? I gotta figure this out.
Oh, it's Puerto Rican. He's gonna look at me he's like, "You want that mofongo?" And I'm gonna be like, "Oh man, it's almost like I'm in a time loop," and I'm gonna have him yell at me.
Oh no. Okay. Well, that was a weird thing that we just did, and we're at the halfway point at an hour and 5 minute mark. That just a little bit over. Andrew, it's over. The ordeal is over for now. We're gonna
But
do
tune
it
in
next week.
next week.
And the National League is next week. This was really, and then we'll do the NBA, and then we'll do the NHL, and then we'll do the NFL.
NBA, I'll tell you right now, is it Jason Kidd and nobody else, right? He used to
Don't-
pull, man.
Oh, God.
He used to pull back in the day when he was
This could last us the rest of this season, actually, and then we'll have like our series finale. We'll have
It's like a
the
round
winner.
robin tournament.
Well then, word from our non-sponsors of people and the places and the things and the I don't know why I sound like Bill Cosby right now. Concepts
Well,
right now.
I mean, as long as you don't do what Bill Cosby.
Oh no, the people and the places and the things and the concept. What have you that we've been enjoying over the last week? I guess I haven't started in a bit. So I will start now. Okay, boys. Past week I've not been well. I got sick. Unfortunately, it's not been great, and I'm just. I finally am getting my voice completely back. I can sound normal. If you listen to our Sports Goofs mini just like 2 days ago, that I did about Patrice Bergeron, I sound like a very like a Batman if he was trying to whisper, which wasn't great. I did not like that at all, but I did try and just make myself happy while it was going on. Anyways, but there's food, right? And I needed to get some nutrients, get some stuff in me, and I decided, you know what? Let's just get some things, some little something. All right, fine. But yesterday I got really, I just wanted something sweet. Okay, just wanted something sweet, and I got a Frosty from Wendy's, but that's not my non-sponsor, guys. I just want to shout it back out. I might have shouted out maybe a few years ago, but I finally remembered the place that I had the greatest ice cream in the world at, and I want to give them a shout out. Okay, and I showed you guys. I think I sent it in the group chat.
Yes, you did.
I did. So, and I'm trying to find it now. Damn it, man! I forgot the name of this place. Oh, here it is. Ah, yes, it is Novel indeed. Novel Ice Cream out in Phoenix, Arizona. Novel Ice Cream out in Phoenix, Arizona, guys. My goodness gracious. This was the greatest ice cream I've ever had in my entire life. I cannot tell you the amazingness of this ice cream. I'm going to show you the photos, okay? And you'll just have to trek yourself out into the middle of the desert and get it. Right? It was an oasis amongst all of the cacti and the scorpions and the rattlesnakes and the 110-degree heat. Okay, there's the Madagascar vanilla with Oreos right there. Okay, that blue beauty is the Cookie Monster ice cream, guys. Okay, it was in kind of like this is it. It's kind of like a hipstery kind of shack area, but once again an oasis in the desert. And this is what they do, guys. Okay, they have their dough melts, their donuts. They cut them open and they stuff ice cream into it. Your ice cream of choice.
Wait, what?
There it is. It's called the dough melt. A warm donut, a fresh warm donut. Cut that bad boy open. Stick some fresh, in store made ice cream, right? They're not importing it from someplace. This isn't your Cold Stone Creamery. No, these guys are making it by hand, and that's the beauty of it. Don't get it in a cup. Get the dough melt. You came all this way, okay? That's the Cookie Monster, and they stick Oreos in there if you want them to. You can add more. You want some Oreos in your cookie ice cream surrounded by a donut? Go ahead. And I had 2 of those bad boys. I wish I had more. Now that I'm going back, looking at this, I wish I had more. I'm gonna have to go. You know what? You want your dough melt. You want a Belgian waffle, and you want to surround that with ice cream inside of it, and then you want to, sprinkle some cinnamon toast crunch on that, Charles. Go ahead. Go get your diabetes. It's your choice. It's your body. It's your choice. Okay, that's according to the Supreme Court. That's well, maybe
Well,
not.
I
Actually.
mean,
maybe
can,
not actually. Never
with
mind.
food, you don't get
Yeah.
choices, or you get all the choices. you
Well,
want.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the Supreme Court.
you have a uterus,
they
you
might
don't
be
get a
trying.
single choice at all.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, guess what? Stick this down your uterus, Charles. That you call your mouth. Oh God, where did I go with that? Anyways, yes.
Can we just move
I
on
can't even
here,
support you on
Francisco?
that.
You're losing track.
I'm losing track. It's good. It's freaking good. I just love this. I love this so much. Yes. It's just ice cream. Yes. Promo code Oasis.
Jesus Christ.
It's good.
Uterus down your throat. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I get it happens. I
Yeah.
guess I'll segue into damage control. Speaking of women power, I guess. So we're back on that bullshit. We're catching up on that backlog. And this weekend, I was in a gaming lull for a bit. I met Ramona, and Ramona was like, "But baby, you need to utilize all the games that you can." But I'm like, "I don't know if I can." With this LG television that I love as Ramona, that's a nickname for those who need a little bit of remembrance here. After I played Horizon for like 60 something hours, the body just couldn't focus anymore. And then I got slowly back into Metroid Dread, which we gave kind of like a minor shout out, right? But you and I, Francisco, are going to be starting real soon Death Stranding. So I had to go something on the small in between. And what I started, which I got like a couple months ago, 2 months ago at most, for like $12 on the PSN network, was Kenna Spirit Bridges, and I absolutely loved it. You're playing as a spirit guide Kenna. Very short game, about 12 hours or so. Beautiful. Looks like one of those Illumination movies, the Minions, without carbon copies of me, but cute little things called the Rot that you're helping, and your job as a spirit guide is to help bring on to the next afterlife very personal stories of those that might have been deceased to help them move on. Some I don't want to spoil too much, but spirits in the forest, good combat, good puzzles, makes you think, beautiful, some sentimental moments, really kind of makes you compensate and contemplate all the things that you do in your life. Ember Labs really made a good game. This is the first video game that they've ever made, and they did such a good job. They used to do animation, and then they went doing straight to game. So it has a bow staff, it has some arrows. It's kind of like Horizon's pseudo mechanics with a little bit of Zelda in there. Beautiful, good story. It's unique, it's organic. It's kind of the platform that I like video games to do, instead of giving me something that's just by the book bullet points, which, mind you, sometimes those are the best games. Like I'm playing Hyrule Age of Calamity right now. That's bullet point and blueprint as we ever seen. Looks great on the PS5, plays well on the PS5, very bright, very beautiful, very exciting, very kind of emotional. You get to certain things, very emotional. My only kind of complaint that I wish was that it was a little bit longer, and could you have expanded it? Maybe. You couldn't have it done with the same segues, because, not a spoiler, but to help like some of the souls move on, you have to collect 3 of their memories, or 3 of the items that are close to them. But the little rots are adorable. I like collecting them. They're kind of just like looking like what, if I had a kid, what that would look like with all my genetics coming in. Just a very good game. I give it like an 8.5. I think is where I'm at. So Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, and whatever, and stuff like that. Microsoft been trying to get Francisco play for a bit. 12 hours worth of time, 15 hours worth probably if you try to collect everything. Very good game, very fun. Promo code ROT, R-O-T.
Okay. Yeah, it looks really good. Wow, man, my voice is gone already. Yes, it looks really, really good. Andrew.
Oh, and the bosses are hard. I'm just saying that now. It's a little Dark Soulsy.
Andrew, you're up. What do you have? Hello?
He dropped in and out, so I don't know if he's... I'm guessing he's still around.
Or maybe his connection's still bad. Unless he's trying to get back on his computer.
Well, he keeps saying he's trying to join, so I know he's making an attempt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, his connection's kind of been kind of wonky today, which is weird. He's actually got the best connection out of the 3 of us, I think. Yeah. Because he has like usually... he has that fiber optic. He's got that fiber optic, so...
He has the fiber internet?
Yeah, I think he does. I think that's what he told me. But I guess we can just kind of do a small thing here until he gets back, hopefully. Um, let's see. So we shall go to. I guess I could do a bit better. No minor league team. I guess I can do that. In the meantime, that's what we're doing on the spot.
All right, he just messaged us. Let's
Yeah, his connection's kind of been bad.
Okay, he's saying that he can't connect. He's having trouble soon.
Go on
So
without me. Oh, okay.
that could be more damage than what people are waiting to do.
Okay, well, I guess I mean, we're an hour 15, so I guess we can talk about the NBA, and then when he comes back, we can do his non-sponsor, right?
Yeah.
So, but Charles, you did have a goon.
I do have a goon.
You do have a goon. So,
So
let's do it.
Here's the thing. I don't believe that we should always be licking the nuts of players. That's how I'm going to say things. For one, attack a lot of people, but I don't come at it with a lot of hatred. The one thing I don't like in any sports and this is mostly for NBA, because NBA, out of all sports, baseball's kind of right there at it too. I don't know if about hockey to stay on hockey, but I'll speak to it to those two sports. It's not really something that's in football. It's to have the media tell me that this individual player is the guy. It's kind of what started the Zach LaVine, Devin Booker.
I mean, with social media, even I'm just gonna go with like the hockey thing. I think it still is in hockey, especially if you're the quintessential the guy. Like Ovechkin. Ovechkin kind of had to deal with that kind of stuff until he finally won a cup. Right, like McDavid's kind of in that right now, where he's great, he's doing all that stuff, but everybody's gonna be like, "Well, how has he done in the playoffs? What has he done in the playoffs?" And that's kind of where it goes, or in like those guys who kind of got that. It just takes one. Usually, like the NHL is not really like about, oh, how many cups did you win? Usually, it's just if they get one, that's all they need. That's really all they need. I think other sports. So especially like the NBA with superstars, like, okay, you got one. Oh, Jordan got 6, and it's like, okay, well,
yeah, no one can have a good time.
Yeah,
and that brings into what it is now. So my goon is Patrick Beverley. So I love quick personalities and stuff like that, and I kind of love players commentating on certain things. But given his comments of what he was saying about Chris Paul, and I like Chris Paul enough. I know I was talking crap about him last year when he signed with the Suns, but it's because I didn't see him as being this big changer of things at 36 at a time. Mind you, they did go to the NBA Finals, but they didn't win. Why? Because the Suns are frauds. But Beverly is going on saying how Chris Paul is a cone and you can just slide on by him, and that, he can't defend anybody. And this is a guy who's essentially just a 10-time All-Pro, All-Star, used to lead the league in just steals, and then he was known for his defensive prowess. So partially it's correct to say that, hey, he's not the guy right now, because, you have to, when you look at the totality of anybody's careers, sometimes you have to be objective and say, hey, it was a good season. And he didn't do anything in between.
I think we got Andrew back.
We got Andrew back. And Beverly just kind of went above and beyond just for post-career work after he retires. And this is Pat Beverly, who, yes, he was on this year's bubble team with the Timberwolves to actually make it, but it's not. It's the same argument that I have with people who kind of like want to hear guys who are never really the greatest success, hear them talk about stuff. But it felt personal, and I'm like, okay, so maybe it is personal.
Hold on, you keep going. I'm just gonna look up. I think maybe SB Nation did a beef history about it, but let me take a look.
Well, Chris Paul is not the kindest player. He's
got a few briefs against other players. That's for sure. He's got one. I mean, he has one against a Boogie. That's for sure. He's out of the Boogie Cousins, but I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they've got a. I don't think SB Nation has done a beef history yet. I'm sure they're already writing the script for it. They've got Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo, Chris Paul, Boogie Cousins. But they will surely soon have one for Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, I just felt that, ESPN's kind of tools for putting him on with Stephen A. Smith anyway, who doesn't, I'm going to say it now, doesn't care about being objective. He just wants to shit talk his opinions. And then you bring another guy who is refined, but is probably looking to be the a mouthpiece for certain Fox Sports situations that comes out when they're trying
They
to
do
make basketball more
They
important.
do have a Pat Bev versus Russell Westbrook beef history. They got that one. So,
Russell Westbrook has beef with everybody, and you know what? We love Russell Westbrook in this
I love
household.
Russ. Yeah, he's a
We
good
love
guy.
Russ. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care what he's saying for the Lakers. I don't care. The man averaged 3 triple doubles in a row.
Yeah.
For 3 seasons.
Anyways,
but I think it's just kind of goonish because you don't look good in this. Because Matt Barnes, who is a dirty ass player or was a dirty ass player in the past, kind of had a very strong retort in regards to that, where it's like you and me, we're just role models. This guy is going to be a Hall of Famer no matter what. And for you, his worst season is your average statistical season. And that's an insult right there. But I felt like Beverly was just kind of be like, all eyes on me. Let me get all the attention, and felt attention starved coming into it. So it was silly that I say. So you're kind of a goon for opening your mouth. Granted, is he saying anything that's a lie? Debatable. But it's not stuff that I think.
I mean, he came into it. Yeah, he came into it saying that this is what players feel, but then other players also came speaking out against him. There were like Dame and a few other guys were commenting.
And Dame is like the most chill guy,
mm-hmm.
and he's just essentially saying, "Well, what are you saying here, man?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was interesting. So he had been on my mind, and I like Patrick Beverly enough for what it is. But it's one of those things where if he's the starter on that Timberwolves team, it's probably because they didn't have anybody better that they could have signed or drafted.
I mean, he's only there for his defense. That's the only reason why he's there. So, okay, all right. So Andrew, are you back? Can you hear us?
I'm back.
Okay, good. Yeah. So let's. We wanted to hear your non-sponsor for the week.
Well, let's see. I forgot what mine was in the process of restarting my computer.
Yeah. Your good computer, by the way. It wasn't your computer. I think it was probably I don't know. Something wonky happened. But
my non-sponsor is Nutri-Grain.
Ooh, I like a Nutri-Grain bar.
They are delicious. If you go to Costco, they have a 4-pack of 16
Ooh,
each.
That's dangerous.
So 64. 32 are strawberry, 16 are blueberry, and 16 are apple cinnamon. Very delicious. Relatively low in calories.
Yeah.
I think 130 each bar.
Yeah.
They make for a nice breakfast on the go, for a snack in the middle of the day. I got them a while ago, but just didn't get them again. But I decided to get them again a few weeks ago, and I don't know why I waited so long to get them again, because they are quite good.
Indeed.
What's that?
I said indeed. Oh, let me look at the flavors. They got, let's see, apple cinnamon. I think I've tried. Okay, raspberry. Yeah, Bixberry I've tried. I haven't tried the cherry. Strawberry. Okay, blueberry. I've tried plenty of those. And then they got like the apple and carrot. I've never seen that before. And strawberry and squash. What the hell is that?
Sounds like an abomination.
Okay. Those are two flavors I've never seen before. I've seen the 3-packs, but I've never seen apple and carrot nor strawberry and squash. Not in the wild, at least. Okay, those are new to me. And yeah, there's Andrew. Have you ever tried the Publix branded ones?
I have not.
Okay. Well, as far as quality, I mean, there's just something different about the actual Kellogg's ones that I would prefer the Kellogg's ones over Publix branded stuff is pretty good. It's cheaper, obviously, compared to everything else, the name brand stuff, but their Nutri-Grain variant is not as good as the original. And as much as I like all these, their Nutri-Grain equivalent is definitely not the same as the original. So yeah, in this instance, yeah, the original can't really be beaten. So I agree with you on all of this. And they're so good. They're just soft. They're so soft. How do they make them that soft? What is their secret? I don't know. They're good. What's the promo code?
Promo code. What the hell is Apple Squash?
Apple Squash. That is a. I've never heard of that combo outside of that. Like an apple squash pie, you would think, right? Or I mean, carrots. Yeah, I mean, there's carrots and carrot cake, right? But that is an interesting combo. Well, we're in the hour 25-minute mark, so if we're gonna get to this, we're gonna start some NBA stuff. All right, Andrew, you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, actually, let me put you back on here because you're back. You're back. So, NBA, the second round is over, and we did weed out some frauds here, Charles.
Frogs.
Yes, indeed. So let's go series by series, and we won't try and get bogged down too much. But let's start with some stuff. Let's start Golden State and Memphis.
What a good ass series, and I really hope that neither of them lose momentum for at least the next 2 years, because the NBA needs some rivalries. Because I have a scary thing to tell you that the newest NBA rivalry might be created in the finals if two teams make it for the third time in a row against each other, with the Mavs and the Heat.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Luke, think on that. That's a possibility. However, not to go too far ahead and be Kid Icarus.
Yeah.
But Ja Morant not playing.
Yeah. And Memphis seemingly playing better without him, which is the thing. That was kind of the overarching thing. Although I don't really want.
Did you guys watch the stuff I sent you about Ja and why he's kind of, I might say he might be Iverson?
Yeah, I did say that, and that's as much as that's great for him to be Iverson, but it's not great for the teams for him to be Iverson. You know what I mean? Because AI, I mean, he willed that 2001 Sixers team into the finals and got them one game, but that was as much as he could do carrying a team by himself.
And the attitude.
Yeah. Well, I would think I would hope Jaws doesn't have that, but who knows? But Golden State is a well-oiled. They're back. They're back. What can we say? The Warriors
amazing
are back.
Amazing when everybody gets fully healthy.
Yep, they're back. So that's it's Memphis.
What did I say the other week? The reason why is I was comparing Golden State to the Lightning.
Yes, and Andrew, you're right with that. With us, like they're just there. But the Warriors kind of came. They had a down period. They kind of recovered all their injuries and all that stuff, and they're back. They are back. That's Memphis could have won the series too. There were close games. That's kind of the thing. So it could be something that they can build upon next season and see what happens. It might get juicy next season if they meet again between these two teams. All right. So then we have the other series. Let's take a look at the opposite Eastern Conference one: Boston and Milwaukee.
Man, you feel like that's a different game when Chris Milton's there.
That's true, and that's kind of. I mean, Giannis did as much as he could.
Listen, I'm glad they got eliminated. I didn't want that.
Yeah,
I didn't want that.
That's true. We probably would have matched up. We match up better against Boston than we do Milwaukee because
Tatum's gonna score, but I'm not saying Jaylen Brown and Al Horford and Marcus Smart.
Yeah, exactly. Like Giannis with his Robin is very dangerous. We just can't.
Yeah. You had to deal with Drew Holiday going like 5 of 22 in like one game, and then another inefficient game the other one. No one could have won that, and Giannis almost did, man.
That's true.
Frightening.
Yes, he's a very, very scary Greek god of ours. And there's so that was that, and then we had our series. Let's weed out the first fraud, Charles.
Give it to me.
The Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers. The Heat won 4-2 in the series. Jimmy, my husband, Jimmy Butler led all Heat players in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. So he did very good.
Put a fear in us, if Eric Spoelstra would just learn not to start Kyle Lowry at all.
Well,
it is no coincidence how well that offense flowed.
Indeed. No, there are people, and I was listening to sports radio down here, and people are starting to notice that too. How the Heat kind of played better without him.
And unlike a certain coach that we're going to mention, when they noticed that their old point guard was hurt, Eric Spoelstra was like, we're not going to force this.
Yep.
Just think on that, kids.
So, yeah.
They did not show up. Doc Rivers fraud.
Huh. Yes. Yeah, the Doc Rivers
3 years
specials.
I've been on that. 3 years I've been on that hate train.
Yeah.
You won a title. What does that mean in the NBA?
It really, he really is one of those guys that gets fired and has like a golden parachute. He fails forward, really. Doc Rivers may be like, he probably hasn't been a good coach since he was in Orlando, really.
Since 2010, since the last finals appearance.
Okay, all right, that's all right. We'll give him that. But even then, that big three era with Boston, without those guys, the Celtics, like Doc Rivers isn't gonna coach up the Celtics and their guys anywhere, really. That's why I say his real only instance of coaching up players was when he really didn't have it in Orlando, and he had T-Mac. That was it, really, and then T-Mac fled for Houston, and actually maybe that. And I'm not gonna say coaches. It's all team. Like every NBA coach needs at least one star on their team to work, right? Every team needs to have that. So I'm not gonna.
He had the star in this series with Joel, my true MVP.
Yeah.
Not this Parasolopoulos.
Yeah. Well,
just because you guys get hot and bothered for Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, don't mean shit to me when it comes to Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. So, and Philly, kudos to Joel Embiid for coming back.
Yeah, love Joel.
Those 2 games, Philly burned him out completely. Whatever energy that they had on it, whatever mojo that they had, they burnt it out in those 2 games in Philly, and that was it. They squeezed out as much as they could out of Joel squeezed out as much as he could in those 2 games. He will, and after that, he couldn't, which is, is saying something with just playing with a broken face. He played with a broken face.
And a torn ligament in his non-shooting hand.
Yep.
One of his fingers.
He played. He shouldn't have been.
He had to play with James Harden.
Yeah, James Soffen.
Yeah.
James Soffen, not Harden. James Soffen. James Harden had 1 good game. That was it.
And I was licking my lips when I saw it was going to be us, because I'm like, all right, we know what kind of player Harden is in the playoffs.
Yeah. And of course,
that final game.
Mm-hmm. And then of course, my future husband Jimmy after the game, Tobias Harris over me.
Poor Tobias Harris.
I know Tobias Harris. He wasn't a real MVP for some of the stuff that he was doing, as well, like charity and stuff that he was doing in our show. I get it.
The game don't lie.
Yeah.
Because you're not even looked as being the main facilitator throughout the season. You're really the 4th best guy, even though you could probably be. If he was on a bad team, if he was on the Houston Rockets or the Orlando back to the Magic, he'd be their clear-cut number 2.
Yeah.
Fair to say, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But on this current Philly team, it was Embiid, Harden, Maxey, and then Harris was just kind of around.
Maxey played well. So
yeah.
But all right. So let's get on over to the juiciest of them, actually.
I have a question for you guys before we advance.
Indeed.
Why? And maybe I was just distracted by the game, so maybe you answered this question. I didn't hear it. But why was Doc Rivers able to win the championship in 2008 with the Celtics, and now he's like crap?
all the pieces of the puzzle were there together for that 3-year window.
That was a
Celtics were
pretty
the first
magical
big three.
Celtics team, to be honest. There was a lot of motivation, obviously. Paul Pierce finally got some help. Kevin
There was
Garnett.
no real competition in the East.
Yeah, that.
We're saying.
Well, they had Detroit. I would say the Pistons. That Pistons team was still relatively good. And then
Miami wasn't yet.
Yeah. That was in the down years with Dwayne Wade trying to.
I think the
carry those teams.
76ers, back when they had Drew Holiday and then a few other guys were building into it. There was just the East was kind of bad, and then with the West, they went 7 games right against the Lakers.
The East was basically, I think it was them, it was Boston, and then it was like Detroit, and I think Chicago had some okay teams. And that was really it. And like the Hawks were weirdly good, but that was it. And
for the West, here's my one answer to you, Andrew. And this is all I can contribute to. Pau Gasol had just been traded in the middle of the season for the Lakers, so it might have been a chemistry thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because they won the World Series. They won the NBA Finals like the following year after they had a full season with him, and they repeated it.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand how valuable that was, because everybody wants to talk about Kobe's legacy. Let's just be glad Devin Booker's not in the finals again. But Kobe's legacy really goes to hell on the final 2 ones without Pau Gasol. I'm just saying it.
Oh, well, I mean, their family. I mean, they got really. I mean, Pau Gasol's hanging out with his wife and stuff. I mean, they got really close. It just, he found a really great teammate that was willing to be. He was the number 2 for the Lake. He needed. Kobe couldn't do it by himself, and no player can.
I would say he was a better number 2 for him than Shaq. I'm saying it. Not meaning he was a better player than Shaq. I'm saying,
but better teammate. Better teammate. Yeah. And then there's. So that's and just Doc Rivers after that. Just he got that one, and he just got labeled as, and then he had the other finals appearance, and he just got labeled as a great coach, and then he went to.
They had the lead in that final game 7, 2010, because I remember I bet money on it that it was going to be a Lakers-Celtics rematch going 7 games, and I had the Celtics winning. I still remember to say that offense not moving the ball at all when they had like Nate Robinson still on there. I don't forget nothing, Doc Rivers. 12 years later, I got you.
Yeah. So that's Doc Rivers. Okay, so so then the epic choke job of epic choke jobs. The Phoenix Suns were up 2-0 on the Dallas Mavericks. Devin Booker just kind of keep playing Luka, trying to hand him the ball very nicely in that second game. And Devin, come on, grab me the ball. And then Luka was like, okay. All right, pussy ass, and then and you saw him like smiling. Okay, all right, and then they got to work, Charles. The Dallas Mavericks got to work. I'm actually gonna zoom in on this series because, damn, holy crap! The number 1 team in the league, 64 victories, the most that the Suns have ever had in a single season in their franchise history. Not even Barkley days they did that. Nope.
Most hyped team this season.
Indeed.
Bet to win it all, despite your repeat champions and teams getting healthy.
Chris Paul was addicted to the finals feeling as he did back in. And all right, fine, all right. Now I'm going back to the Pelican series, Charles, because we have to look at this. That series, the New Orleans Pelicans exposed the Phoenix Suns to the rest of the world. That this team... Yeah.
Guessing there was a score?
I'm guessing it's a score because it was a freaking power play because Mackenzie Weegar and So, okay. Alrighty. Then, okay, let's keep going because it's, whatever, nothing matters. None of this matters. Mackenzie Weegar is one of the worst players on our team this entire postseason, and he sucks. He absolutely effing sucks.
Holy shit! The Magic won the lottery.
Holy shit!
That actually happened today. I didn't realize that the draft lottery was happening. Yeah, the last 2 shows, the 2 draft lotteries just happened. The NHL one and the NBA one. Interesting. All right. Well, look at that.
Shocked.
The Magic also doing some good stuff. There you go. Maybe sorry
to interrupt, but I looked down at my phone and I saw the ESPN notification. I was like, hey, we
Damn
won the
it.
draft.
All right. Well,
Hey, that's a
there
good
we
thing to
go.
have,
Central
right?
Florida got their thing. They got their goal, and they got their number 1 draft pick. All right. Now it's time for South Florida to get theirs. All right. Now
He's
it's
using Central Florida.
yeah, Central Florida.
Unlike what USF fans would say that they're South Florida.
Well, they're in Tampa, right? So it all doesn't. It all sucks.
It-
It all sucks. All right, that entire region sucks. All right. Anyways,
Hopefully, before we continue, I just have a fun little thing I want to tell you guys. Maybe you can pull it up on screen. There's actually a road sign.
we're gonna go into the Andrewverse right now, so let's go.
Okay.
This feels like a moment to finally use this part.
There's actually just a random road sign just out in the middle of nowhere. It's out near Lakeland, and there's an oil derrick right next to it for some reason. But it's a sign that says downtown Orlampa. So it's theoretically the halfway point between Orlando and Tampa. But it's just this. It's funny. It's a funny little thing to see while you're driving. And I think that's really where the term, whoever came up with that, kind of was the one that came up with that phrase, the Orlampa region or whatever.
There's an article from the Tampa Bay Times. Welcome to Orlampa, a Florida man's tourist attraction that doesn't exist. At least that's what I see here in this article here. Now, this must be an old article. Is it? Yeah, they're Tampa Bay Times. I thought. Yeah, they used to be the St. Petersburg Times, and then
I know. I'm so mad.
and
You
then
know,
they
like
became Tampa Bay Times.
Family Arena is fine, but the St. Pete Times Forum, I don't know. That just rolls off the tongue so well.
Or the tourist for over 2 decades, Fantasy of Flight owner Kermit Weeks has been hatching. Hey there, I'm gonna put a sign out there downtown Orlando. That's my Kermit impression, everybody.
You sound more like a South Park character than anything.
Let's see it. Orlampa sign facing I-4 near Polk City. That's what it says there. Orlampa Citrus Tower near Fantasy of Flight in Polk County, September 2019. Okay.
You guys, Aaron Judge has 2 home runs in this game.
Oh boy!
Just pay this man. A jerk of a judge. That's all I have to call it now for him.
All right, so this guy is just trying to get people to go to his little flight school or whatever flight. He probably takes people up and throws them off planes. Okay, all right. So that's an interesting tidbit in the
one last tidbit while I'm thinking of that area, and then I'll move on. There used to be a tourist attraction out there where it was just a bunch of streamliner. Basically like pull trailer RVs that used to just be lined up in a row right off the side of I-4.
This is only proving Charles's point about the area and the fan base between the two franchises.
I just want to say this. I
lived in Polk County for 4 years. I can definitely Winter Haven, baby. I can speak to all this. Try as you might.
There is a difference between Hillsborough and Pinellas.
My neighbors were Klan members. You can't win this, guys.
No, yeah, I absolutely agree. Once you get to Polk County and Lakeland, you know, that's where it really starts to go.
Start taking spices out of your meat. Just use salt.
That's where you start getting into I don't know, redneck territory. I don't want to be.
They don't sell adobo at the supermarket.
Right, exactly. And this is also the part of kind of near the area where there's a big ass Confederate flag just chilling out.
All American County.
God, yeah.
So yeah, Charles is absolutely correct when he says that area is like redneck city.
Trash.
But once you start getting into the Tampa area, not so much. But yeah, definitely. I just try to speed my way through Polk County as fast as I can.
You're like, I can't let them know I'm Jewish. Oh, no.
They would not take kindly to me.
Oh boy. Yeah, my name is Frank Porter in those areas.
You think we're wrong with their boy? I'm Italian.
My skin color, I just came back from
Nicaragua.
vacation. I just came back from vacation.
That's when the southern inflection pops in, guys.
I saw Ted Cruz in Cancun.
That's the new thing in the NBA. You know, in the NHL, Andrew, like when they refer to you like your team sucking, it's like, oh, they're gonna be golfing, you know, because that's like a lot of NHL players golf in the off season. And now the NBA thing is going to Cancun. That's like the thing now, saying that your team's going to Cancun. So that's it. Where was this going? Oh yeah, the freaking the playoffs. Well, the Pelicans exposed them. All right, so the Suns. Yeah, Game 7, Charles. Let's talk about it. Game 7.
14. Let me slide on in real quick.
Go ahead. Do it. Do the
First
thing.
off, the internet is savages because that JFK meme I sent you was just.
I'm gonna go on Twitter. I'm going on Twitter. I'm gonna go on our Twitter account. I retweeted a bunch of stuff.
How do you go and it is a Game 7? You're supposed to coach it out. You're Monty Williams. You're back-to-back coach of the year.
I want to give this context to Andrew. Like, at least like with the Leafs, like it was a 2-1 game, right? All those Game 7s for the NHL, all of them were down to the wire.
Down to the wire.
Every single one of them in the
People
NHL.
played like it mattered.
And
they didn't want to go to Canada.
And even the one between the Celtics and the Bucks was a good game.
Yes.
And here's the number 1 team in the NBA. Take it, Charles. Take it.
The Luka Doncic's, coached by probably the handsomest coach in the NBA. We'll see about that later in the season, Jason Kidd. Because sure as shit ain't Mike Budenholzer. Though the beer's attractive. Andrew, I stopped playing video games to watch this damn game. And then Luka Doncic had to tell me, yes, Charles, I'm on the cover of NBA 2K22. Do you know what that means? I'm like, I don't know what that means, Luka. I'm going to show up and show out. And as I'm watching in the first quarter, Andrew, it was like 22 to like 12 or 26 to 12. And then we get into halftime, and it was like 70-something to like 30. And shout out to the Nintendo Switch for being horrible, because that's when I just went straight into the damn Hyrule Warriors I'm playing out. Andrew, at one point, it was a 40-point lead for the Dallas Mavericks, a team that only has one legitimate superstar, because Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Max Keebler, Spencer Dinwiddie, Randy Bullock, who's not Bullock anymore, but it's Bullock. They're just dudes. And then there's Luka. And Luka is like, let me show you the Slovenia way of doing things. He's like, I'm sick of you, Devin Booker. Your American way of doing things, of stealing the ball around and looking like you just shitted your pants every time you're trying to like get an offensive or a defensive foul on me when you're driving to the basket. Because Devin Booker makes this face. Some clarity for you, Andrew. You can't see me, but it's like a face, like a baby do a poo-poo. And Luka's like, if I shit my pants, shit just rolls down, but I keep going. That's my Slovenian accent. And he's like, let me show you the Slovenia way. It was an ass whooping, Andrew. They only scored, Phoenix itself, it scored only 10 points in the second quarter. Unheard of in basketball.
My God.
First quarter, 27-17. You're like, okay, it's a 10-point game, whatever. Then the Mavericks scored 30-10. So 30 points there, 10 points. And you're like, this is just done. This is just done. No one cared. Everybody's bricking it. No one's doing anything. And then Chris Paul, 10 points, only went 4 for 8. Devin Booker, Mr. the guy, the Kobe dude, the Kobe successor.
Yeah, the heir to Kobe.
Going 3 for 14. And he was missing some stuff. I don't believe in the plus-minus stats that much. You guys know I don't, but this is the time where I'm going to bring it in. Devin Booker's plus-minus was minus 41. And it showed because everybody was just going on. Luka was going
with the plus
on
minus. With the plus minus, it's the same thing in hockey. It's not a complete view of your effectiveness on the ice, but there are certain points where you look at the number and it's like, ooh, oh my god.
It's on you.
Mm-hmm.
And this was supposed to be the team. It reminds me so much of the Warriors when they went like 73 and whatever, and they lost in the finals, but it still was competitive in itself because it's high. I give great expectations, but bad coaching comes out. Why did Monty Williams just sit Chris Paul? I understand you might not have things, but now if you bring up this injury, he was dealing with a hamstring injury. Well, you don't put dudes in Game 7. You know who went out put their injured point guard who's 36 years old with bad hamstring in? Eric Spoelstra, and he didn't do it because he trusted his team, and he didn't predicate his talent on just the success of his players. He predicated the talent and the success on the game plan. Unlike Monty Williams. I'm calling that shit right now. Jason Kidd was like, I believe in that Slovenian, devil over there named Luka Doncic. And I don't really like Doncic that much, but he's earned my respect. I think he's kind of young and a flopper and looks like he's going to cry. But this was a team that was in disarray when they traded away Kristaps Porzingis to, I think he's in Washington now. And they're like, we're just going to run this one show. And boy, pay the man. You don't even get to the finals, without him. And you may get to the actual finals because of him. Wild, man. Wild. Yeah. A 40-point game, Andrew. The whole team gave up on it. I'm like, how I was like fire Doc Rivers with the Heat, the Heat game series. I felt like they should just be like, all right, Monty, you're out. Because he didn't plan for it. There was bad.
He won Coach of the Year. He won Coach of the
Year. Twice.
Yep.
There's no way to get that energy going. And I'm also going to say this now. All you people on Twitter, where the hell were you last year? When I was like, I will be this lone man.
We have receipts.
Sure. I got receipts, and the bill is due. And I've been waiting on this for a couple days.
Yeah.
All y'all talking that trash about Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Monty Williams, you get to sit all the way in the back and not have your voice heard. Because I was on there day one. I said, Devin Booker,
Charles is baking the pie this time.
Yeah, I don't see it. Because I was like, sometimes in basketball, if you're the primary facilitator of the ball handling or the scoring, you're going to get the inflated stats. I said it about Zach LaVine. I said it about Devin Booker. Zach LaVine, I eased up a little bit because he kept that production of play consistent in at least his playoffs. And then I didn't get the Chris Paul hype when he signed with the Suns that first year last year, because I just don't see how getting the aged vet, not aging, aged, the aged vet on a team would mean an automatic win. I think that the Suns had the perfect storm last year, and thankfully, it subsided the way it had to subsided leading into it.
They were also up 2-0 in the NBA Finals last year. So
yeah. So that was my whole happiness of it. DeAndre Ayton showed up, but they didn't want to pay DeAndre Ayton. And then Devin Booker.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton's always kind of forgotten that he's on the, even though he's good.
It's a different game. Yeah. It's a different game. He's not a Joel Embiid who can do the vertical range shots, and it's understandable.
We're at 153, so I do want to get to the memes.
Andrew said he's going to be right back, but I'm gonna summarize this: is that the bill is due, and I'm collecting today because I don't jump. Phoenix was a new sexy thing because, and this is going to be the end point of it. Y'all wanted Phoenix to win so damn badly because you guys were sick of Golden State and the Lakers, and the Lakers had a quicker downfall than Golden State. Yeah, they were the true bubble team. They built up and go from there. And they're not going to have a repeat until you trade Anthony Davis. That's going to be the offseason topic that I will emphasize on because you can't trade Russ because no one's going to want that contract. But y'all just hated Gold because for some reason Golden State became the bad guys because they drafted well. They signed one man, Durant, to bring it all together, but they won without him, and now they're more than likely going to go to another NBA Finals. Now, however, I do want that Heat Mavericks because it would be the third time they meet. Yeah, is this your modern day? Is this your modern day Celtics Lakers? Because we have played them in the last.
It's the one the NBA didn't really want, but it's the one they might just get.
But we've had them in each of the decades: 06, 12, and 12 or 11. Remind me.
The aughts, the 10s, and now the 20s.
Yeah, so it's like that's amazing to me. To me, at least, I think it's
Yeah.
fascinating because you
I
also have
want
to
it.
remember
I
this.
actually kind of want it.
You have Spo and Riley sit around, but you have Cuban and Jason Kidd around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It
So
all comes together.
that's some cool shit to me. That's
Yeah.
nerdy stuff. I can't tell you. And then like somewhere is Jawan Howard just chilling.
I want to get to the memes that we're at 155.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one. Of course the video game stuff. The video game ones are always cool because they always show like the difference in technology. This is how Chris Paul looked. How long Chris Paul has been choking. So his days NBA Live with New Orleans and him in NBA 2K now. Just the difference there. I have some NHL stuff here. This one, the Abraham Lincoln and Devin Booker and Chris Paul were the shooters.
Dead.
That was a good one. They had a JFK one. NBA Coach of the Year awards, pointing out that Budenholzer has 2, Monty Williams got his, and Spoelstra still has none.
Budenholzer has a ring though, so he'll get a pass.
Kobe watching Devin Booker's performance while
Oh
wearing
my
his shoes.
That's the one I sent you. Ooh, I felt it. But I'm
Oh
ashamed.
man. This one, I know Biombo donated his entire salary to build a hospital, but I didn't know that CP3 and Devin Booker
Laying
were the
bricks.
ones laying the bricks. Mad respect. I tweeted out, "It's happened again. Charles the True knew the Suns were frauds from the beginning of the season." Of course, promoting our Charles Stradamus shirts. This one, the mocking of Christ, Giuseppe de Ribera, 6'15". We're comparing it to Devin Booker and Luca.
I went on a full like hour-long shit ride of finding stuff.
Yeah,
on the
the
internet.
memes were great. Oh man. CP3 in a Game 7 situation, Mr. Ass. This is so great from back in the N64 days. Like WWF No Mercy or WrestleMania 2. One of those. Or WCW.
It's probably No Mercy.
Yeah, it's probably No Mercy because that's always the most memorable one. That one's great. I tweeted out after this ass whooping, the Phoenix Suns lease has been terminated at Footprint Center, and the Arizona Coyotes will be moving in. Yeah. They're just great. There's so many of them, but they're great. Yeah. Just an epic fail, an epic choke job for the ages.
The Thunder got the second pick in the draft, so their tanking is actually working very well.
Yeah. Well, they're in.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you do it. They're rebuilding. So, yeah. All right. So we're at 158. I believe it should be time to head on out to the cage. Let's do it, Charles. You ready?
All right. Welcome, everybody. Your weekly Truplex The Cage with Charles. Full disclosure, wrestling is not fake. It's scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a soap opera. It's a song and dance about men and women being the holy hell of each other, trying to establish that legacy, championships, and sometimes it's about giving the finger to the man. And I feel like the last 3 weeks, I've been trying to talk about other stuff, but there's real life situations and real life incidences that change the game completely. And it just makes you wonder, damn, what the hell is going on? AEW, we'll start there. They have the Owen Hart Foundation tournament going on. Y'all know I think it's kind of weird to have a tournament for a guy that never wrestled for you and you didn't have any touch points. You don't even have any of the Hart signed on your roster. But Tony Khan, he likes his tournaments. And it's one of those situations where you're like, I don't know what the gain is for it. It's not like the G1 Climax tournament or the Battle of the Super Juniors out of New Japan or like the King of the Ring where you just get a bad King moniker in WWE. However, they at least have had some compelling matches. I did watch the Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin match. I sent you guys some of those tweets, and Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin just want to die for me. And that's okay. They want to die for my entertainment. They want to die for my enjoyment because there were some ladder spots, like Darby going off on the swanton from that ladder, at least going like 20 feet on. Pretty sure you can cuss Jeff Hardy right then and there. But it's going to progress on. There's the Jokers for both the men's and the women's because it's a men's tournament and a women's tournament. And the Jokers are going to be like wild card people that aren't announced. So there's a lot of fun on the social media that's going on to determine who is exactly going to appear there. There's some rumors it's going to be Cesaro for AEW's Joker, Johnny Gargano. There's some rumors it's going to be Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon, or maybe a few other people that had wrestled in different organizations. I'm intrigued. I still think it might be like Adam Cole's thing to win, and then with the women's, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of determine. It might be a Ruby Soho situation. I haven't really looked at the brackets in full because when you don't do, this is the problem. You know, I love predictions on these brackets, but when you have like wild cards who are going to show up unannounced, it kind of derails everything. But this is the problem too. If you have unannounced people, that always makes me think that they're going to win their entrance match. So the Joker would go against Samoa Joe, and then the other Joker would go against Britt Baker, DMD. So I'm just curious to see how they're going to portray out. But the bigger news of AEW stuff is I'm now excited for the Adam Hangman Page CM Punk feud. They're both kind of healing it. They're both kind of facing it right now, making into some of the blood feuds. And CM Punk went against John Silver, part of the Dark Order, who's boys with Hangman Page, and beat him by doing Hangman's finisher. So that's like the ultimate. That's a Luka.
That's a big no-no. That's fighting them fighting.
Them fighting words. Them fighting words. That's the Devin Booker grabbing the ball from Luka Doncic.
You just stole my final smash.
Yeah, and I don't know who essentially wins this. This is one of those few times in bookings where I can go either way. I think if you really want to establish Page's credibility in full as a champion, because he's had good defenses but kind of blessed stories, him going over CM Punk would be huge, and then possibly you get MJF to be the one who takes off the title from Page. Right now MJF's having like contract disputes with Tony Khan. I don't know if it's a work, if it's a show or anything like that. And if you have CM Punk win, you really just have to make sure the guy who actually beat CM Punk and takes the title from CM Punk is the greatest man of your company forever. You know what I mean? That's huge. CM Punk, we don't talk about him a lot on our show because he was retired for like 7 years. He left the WWE. He hated it. He did a lot of accomplishments there. Hated everything that Vince was doing. Very similar to certain people who walked out of Raw last night. And he did a lot of stuff with Ring of Honor.
I even read about that news.
That's big.
That's the big one.
That's a big one. And I'm trying not to do too much of WWE because right now, 3 years into it, we have so much wrestling that I shouldn't be relegated to just one particular kind of meal. Right. Unfortunately, sometimes you get them cravings, or sometimes they give you new variation. They're like, hey, it's Wendy's. We have a new number 12.
They mix squash and apples.
Squash and apples. And you're like, okay, sure, I got to try this. I'm intrigued. So it definitely leads into something that I'm like, oh boy. But I'm excited about the build. It still needs to get certain things going because I'm assuming they're going to have the Owen Cup finals there. I don't know who Thunder Rosa, the women's champion, is going to be going against. Sammy Guevara and Scorpio Sky, they keep switching the belts. I know I've talked about it, but now, you had Scorpio Sky regaining the title and then going against Frank Kazarian and then, defending it and winning from there. It's lost some credibility, so maybe it does need a pay-per-view match to really kind of make it effective. I don't know what the hell's going on with the men's tag team titles. This has been like the biggest blunder that they've done, so this is kind of like I'm back and I'm critiquing AEW a little bit to talk shit. But Luchasaurus, or the Jurassic Express of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy has kind of been, to me, a failure of how to make, and my dogs agree, of how to kind of do the tag team titles, whereas you had interesting stories with FTR holding the belts, Hangman and Omega holding the belts, the Lucha Bros even holding the belts, even though they lost it out of nowhere to Lucha, or I keep saying Luchasaurus and Lucha because that's how they mess with me, Jungle or Jurassic Express, but now I just don't care. And the problem is AEW is supposed to be known for all these tag teams that they have, and I'm at that point when it comes to Jurassic Express, anybody but them having the belts is fine by me. Also, here's some touch points that you guys need to consider too. Now is the time where certain contracts are not getting renewed for AEW wrestlers. So we mentioned the Dark Order that was originally Brody Lee's stable. Now that's kind of like Hangman's there and everything. He's not the leader, but he's bros with them. And it was led by Evil Uno and then a few other guys. But Stu Grayson, who was one of the founding members of it when they first arrived at AEW, his contract, they couldn't come to an agreement on money. And he's out. He might come back. He may not come back. We don't know how that plays out. However, what does this mean? Because what did Tony Khan do in AEW aside from buying Ring of Honor? He also signed a lot of the WWE guys. Now, mind you, getting Bryan Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan, was an excellent move. Same thing with CM Punk, who wasn't really a WWE guy anymore, but getting Adam Cole, who had left, and then Miro, who was formerly Rusev, who I actually hope is the Joker, because I want to see him and Samoa Joe slapping some serious meat. We're talking about Samoan meat versus Bulgarian meat, and that makes my chorizo happy. But I'm intrigued of who would be released, because then there's some contract issues of MJF, but it said that his contract's not expiring until 2025. So are we just too much on the heater for this at this time? We'll hopefully touch a little bit about AEW later on before Double or Nothing. Impact, doing Impact things, I won't really comment on there. New Japan's doing the Battle of the Super Junior Heavyweights. But meh, I'll come back into it because it's one of those things where the junior heavyweights are basically the cruiserweights. I don't think it's Despy anymore who has that belt. I think it's either Chase Owens or El Phantasmo who's now the champion. But regardless, they got a title shot. Hopefully they do something good and make it nice, so on and so forth. Let's focus on WWE because there's some real interesting stuff here. Not storylines. Storylines are muddled. Roman Reigns ain't wrestling Hell in a Cell.
We got stuff in the behind the scenes, the business stuff.
Let's get the business. Let's get the business, right? So Andrew's not here, but let's make this interesting here. If you're in a contract and you don't work at that job anymore, you just bail, right? And 9 out of 10 times, that boss fires you. They don't honor your contract. You don't show up to work. You tell them to go toss it. And then you bail. You don't have a job tomorrow, right? Your boss doesn't call you over, right, Francisco, and go and say, I like your chutzpah, kid. Not a lot of people would do that to me. It reminds me of that episode or that scene from Ted, the movie, where Ted, the doll, little teddy bear that comes back to life, or comes to life, I guess.
I bought a teddy bear recently. I didn't realize how huge it was.
Apparently it is.
I bought a Florida Panthers. I saw it on Goodwill. It was only it was $1. I'm like, I'll buy a little trinket. They're doing great in the playoffs. It's like 4 feet tall.
God, for $1. Congratulations. Yes. That's cute.
I saw a massive box in front of my house, and I'm like,
no.
I'm like, what is it? Oh, it's the little Goodwill has sent me stuff in boxes that are way too big for the packages inside. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's probably they just had a box and just sent me it. It's a 4 foot tall bear, and it's in my closet right now, and it will murder me one day if the Panthers don't win the Stanley Cup this season.
It's just like Chucky. So it reminds me of the movie Ted, where he's working at the grocery store, and then he goes and talks trash to his boss, and is like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And the boss is like, no one's ever talked to me before like that. No one ever has. You're going to get a raise and promoted. And Ted's like, fuck. That's essentially that wouldn't happen to us. We would just get let go. But, so last night, and I'm going to skip everything to make the cage short, because right now we're kind of in the doldrums for WWE anyway, so I can ignore it. Last night, you had Naomi, who is the wife of Jimmy Uso, who apparently one of our people from law school was her neighbor, which I have to get in real cool with that so I can go meet the Usos and then high five Roman, and then I am beautifully going from there, our tribal chief. Listen, connections are great when you actually have to call connections. And then you have Sasha Banks, who is the boss. She's kind of famous now because she was on Star Wars, on The Mandalorian as... I didn't watch The Mandalorian. I just know that she was one of the people in there. Listen, side note, I've hated everything Disney has done with Star Wars, so I refuse. You can literally have
believe me, we've got record of that on the show for sure.
Well, it's not going to stop, and I'm going to take this as arbitrarily. My mandatory bashing of Star Wars Disney style is going to happen every time I get a chance. Stop making low quality production stuff. Stop telling me what you think it's more than just flashy lights that give people seizures and cool little light swords, lightsabers. I don't care about Mandalore, man. I get it, and some of it's cool, but I'm not invested in fully. I didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett, even though Cad Bane came on. I'm like, hold up here, what? I watched Rebels. I watched Clone Wars. What's going on here? Rebels wasn't even that good. But anyway, I'm going to digress here. But she's gotten some notoriety. She's utilized the women's championship, the women's tag team championship to her advantage. The women tag titles have not really been utilized that well. They were a prop, man. They were a prop 3 years ago to kind of appease that very bloated roster. And then the worst thing Vince could have done was add another pair of titles. It's not something that's brand specifically assigned. It is something that hot potatoes out, and those titles got hot potatoed. And there was times where those championships were not even broadcasted on pay-per-views or even defended. I couldn't tell you who was the last couple of champions until I had to reverse it and research it. So I can talk about today. This is one of the few times I actually prepared for something to think about. So apparently the main event of the match, and this is
Francisco.
Yes. Oh,
Check the score.
Keep going, Charles. Nothing
I
happened.
heard it. I heard
Nothing
him.
happened.
I heard him, and then Andrew broke up because I believe there was going to be some smack talk, and then it disappeared.
No, I didn't say anything. I just said check the score. That's all I said.
You know, my children are fighting. My children are fighting.
Hey,
So-
I didn't say a damn thing. I just said check the score. I was informing him.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I was being a good friend and informing him.
One does have to check the score. It's plain and simple. So what has happened is the main event for last night's Raw was supposed to be a 6-pack challenge consisting of Doudrop, Nikki Ash, Sasha, Naomi, tag team partners, Asuka, and like someone else, and Becky Lynch. And whoever wins that would go challenge Hell in a Cell. Everything I'm about to tell people, if you actually do listen to the show, wrestlers, if you do listen to the show, follow us on Twitter, Charles the True, FJOJR, Dan Frijoles. Everything is based off hearsay and speculation. I'm going to do my best to be objective about this. But it is stated that the finish was called for Naomi to pin her teammate Sasha Banks to get a number 1 contender shot at the Raw Women's Championship against Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell, where Sasha would go and, you know, deal with Ronda Rousey and get slaughtered. That's the rumor. And then apparently what happened is Sasha and Vince went to talk a little bit. Naomi and Vince went to talk a little bit. And then they went to John Laurinaitis, who's head of talent relation creative, and said, here's these tag titles. Peace, we're out. And they walked out. And you're like, maybe it's not a work because WWE won't let that shit happen. But what got crazier was WWE actually released an official statement on it during the show. And then they had Corey Graves announce that Sasha and Naomi had walked out unprofessionally. And you're like, what is going on here? Because the first thing you never really do in wrestling is you never break the scene. You never break kayfabe. I wouldn't. It reminds me of a couple years ago where the McMahons came out and said, hey, the quality of Raw is trash, and we're going to change that now. And we're going to blame, you know, in kayfabe where it was Commissioner Baron Corbin, and we're going to change that. But like they broke it. They probably did whatever they could to shoot the shot against Sasha and Naomi to their best ability. And now we're kind of like, all right, the women tag championships are like, we're out. They're leaving. They walked out. They're still on a contract. Vince won't release you unless he really doesn't think you're going to make him money. Sasha makes him so much money that he's not going to want to do on AEW. And then Naomi is the wife of Jimmy Uso, who's a SmackDown tag champion related to who? Roman Reigns. And you don't know what it is. And the rumors and the speculation, the hearsay, is that Sasha and Naomi said, you put us together last minute before a WrestleMania match. They have some history together as being friends and enemies, but you have us win the titles. We're not spotlighted enough. And then you change the events of what happened. And how is it that you can have 2 champions in there and you can have my partner pin me to go from there? Women's wrestling doesn't look good like that. That's a very abridged way. I am not these people. They're not going to release official statements. I'm just going with what the dirt sheets say. And I'm just like, holy shit. Because what this really means is a twofold way. I'm going to approach you the 2 issues, and I'm looking at 2 situations. I'll try to keep it brief, but this is some big boy shit. The issue is if you have unhappy wrestlers that want to leave, Vince ain't going to release you. Mustafa Ali tried that, and he was gone for several months. And Vince is like, I'm going to pack you home and go from there. Sasha Banks has done this before, and she wanted to be released from her contract once. And Vince is like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you go on a vacation. You come back a couple of years later or a couple of months later and go from there. So it's going to tell you that things are still going to happen, and they're going to do this stuff before the show to kind of go from there and test you, Vince. They're going to test you because there's a difference between saying fire me and, oh, I'm about to go up, I'm out. Because that technically grounds for termination, right, boys? Yeah. And the other thing it's going to be is that, remember, the title, it's all scripted, not fake. It's scripted. So you already know who, in theory, is going to win the championships and lose the championship. So the issues that stem from is 2 things. One, if you have last-minute changes to the matches, and that happens oftentimes, henceforth, cards subject to change, people are going to be bailing. Maybe that gives them a search. Like, oh, you know what? you're going to send me home anyway. You're not going to release me. I'm not coming to work. And they're still going to honor the contract. Because why does Vince does that? Because he wants to eat up the territories the same way he did it back in the day. Because he doesn't want you, if he thinks you're even a decent quality talent, to go to the new Ring of Honor being bought under Tony Khan or AEW. And here's the thing. Vince might not be saying, oh, hey, I'm not scared of AEW. But AEW is actually pulling in some strong-ass ratings where they're almost on 1 million during the NBA and the hockey playoffs. They're not losing guys, man. That's saying something. Well, it looks at it 2 ways. Either you say they're not losing anybody, or the people who watch wrestling don't care about other sports, which I don't think is necessarily true, right? But it's an interesting concept. Plus, mind you, Nielsen ratings are overrated. No pun intended. I'm sorry.
It's not just that anymore. It's stuff on the internet.
But what did I mention last week though? Warner Brothers Discovery merger. If they're going to see those ratings, and that could lead to other things and purchasing a streaming platform for AEW. But it can lead to people just being like, oh, you keep changing my plans and my promises. I'm out. And what's the other issue? What if you have someone who has a title run? That title run has not been to anything that is credible to their brand, because that's really the approach I think that Sasha, Naomi, and then other wrestlers might be doing, is that how is their title run going to help their credibility? Now that they know there's so many other options, what's their marketability? It's about, what's a great sport to analogize this with? Football, when you're an edge rusher. You're basically a sniper, man. You're basically a mercenary. Think about all those guys that were just edge rushers or pass rushers that would come into it where it's just like, okay, just sign me to those 1-year deals. We'll do it. Jadeveon Clowney's your modern day guy right now. But then you think of like Robert Mathis, and you think about a few of the other guys that were coming in there. A couple of them escape my mind. Melvin Ingram himself right now, who just got signed by the Dolphins. Look, I'm bringing it all together to a sports show, kids. At some point you build that credibility, and it's like whoever wants me gets me. That's kind of what it is right now in the wrestling market. So there's plenty of titles that have not been utilized whatsoever. That what if you have another champion who's like, I'm out? Ricochet. Here's a fun statistic for you boys. Ricochet is your Intercontinental Champion. He won like a month and a half ago. The last time the Intercontinental Championship was defended at a pay-per-view was the WrestleMania from last year. Okay. What? That's a year and change on a pay-per-view. The thing that's supposed to give you more time, more time for the matches, more storylines, more focus. And you've had title changes on the televisions. The last time the U.S. Championship that I remember that was defended at a pay-per-view was SummerSlam with Damian Priest versus Sheamus. That's just from what I remember on, because then Damian Priest had it and he lost it on a Raw. Was that really telling you about so much stuff, man? Because what's that conundrum that Vince is in? Now, let me ask you, if you say, Charles, whose side are you on here? Because to the benefit of Sasha or against Sasha, this is not the first time.
We're at 217, so what are your thoughts?
I could do it on a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is not to be determined yet on the ending, because that might be in a week or so, and I'll revisit it. But these are my thoughts coming into it.
This just happened.
I get it. I think this only benefits Sasha more than Naomi, because Sasha gets released from her contract. Everybody's going to want to piece her up. She has had credibility in a run, and she was always kind of the focal point. She was always in the A Club, the 4 Horsewomen. She was on Star Wars, all this other stuff. Naomi, she's been the same brand, the same character trying to feel the glow for the last 5 years. So is it going to be, for Sasha, she ain't going to be starting back to 1. For Naomi, she might be starting back to 1. And what is interesting, even though you were not the one who would probably beat Bianca Belair, right? Keep in mind, you were still the one who was positioned to win that match last night, and you still walked out. So I'm going to assume everything is an independent thought. The one thing I hate about the Twitter people is they always think it's a Lemmings concept. But how is this going to help you if Vince just lets you go? And where are you going to be able to build up? Because WWE money, there's a big difference in that pay versus Impact money. And there's no guarantee that AEW is going to pick you up too. So sometimes you have to support the movement, but sometimes we also have to sell out. And we'll find out more in the coming weeks. So that's all I have for you in the cage this week.
Okay. All right, guys. So that's it. We'll find out if me and Andrew are going to go out and get some food. We got paid today. So
we got paid my lunch at JoJo's.
We'll see if we'll have a temporary truce to get some lunch sometime this week, and we'll talk about it next week. You know. All right. So take care, everybody. Bye bye.
Right, everyone.
Take care.